Think about the average person for a second. They often say things like, "It's impossible to get rich in this economy," or "The government takes everything in taxes." They look at a successful neighbor and tell themselves, "He just got lucky. He was in the right place at the right time." Most people call this bad luck or a rigged system. But the truth is much more uncomfortable. What's actually holding them back is an invisible psychological pattern, already installed in their brain like a piece of faulty software. You see, poverty isn't just a lack of money in a bank account. After years of studying the psychology of success and human behavior, it's clear that long-term financial struggle is often a result of what we can call low financial IQ psychology. I'm not talking about your grades in school or your actual IQ score. I'm talking about a mental program that is hardwired to repel wealth and seek immediate comfort. If you feel like you're running on a financial treadmill and going nowhere, the next minutes might be the wake-up call you've been avoiding, but desperately need. The dictatorship of dopamine. The first and most destructive sign of this mindset is the inability to delay gratification. Biologically, our brains are still wired for survival, seeking immediate rewards. But in the modern world, this ancient programming is a fast track to bankruptcy. Think about it through two simple scenarios. First, look at health. We all know that the body of our dreams requires months of discipline, but when faced with a juicy burger and fries versus a healthy meal, the low IQ impulse chooses the burger every single time. Why? Because it wants the dopamine now. It prefers 15 minutes of pleasure on the tongue over a lifetime of health and confidence. Now apply that same logic to your wallet. When most people get a bonus or have extra cash, they don't see a seed to be planted. They see an opportunity for a new iPhone, designer clothes, or an expensive night out. It's the exact same mechanism as the burger. They're trading their future freedom for a temporary status that only lasts until the next credit card bill arrives. High financial IQ individuals understand a fundamental truth. Money today is a seed. If you eat the seed, you'll never have the tree. The secret isn't just saving, it's understanding that delayed pleasure earns compound interest, while immediate pleasure accumulates debt and regret. The victimhood addiction is the addiction to victimhood. It's much easier to believe that your failure is someone else's fault. In psychology, this is called having an external locus of control. It's the belief that the forces shaping your life are entirely outside of you, the government, your boss, or just bad luck. When you point the finger outward, you feel temporary relief because you don't have to face your own shortcomings. But there's a terrible cost to this comfort. If the fault is theirs, the power to change is also theirs. You essentially become a passenger in the car of your own life, waiting for someone else to drive you to success. Low financial IQ psychology loves victimhood because it's a socially accepted excuse for staying exactly where you are. Wealth builders, however, operate with an internal locus of control. They say, the economy might be bad, but what am I going to learn to earn more despite it? They take 100% responsibility. If a business fails, they don't blame the market, they analyze what they did wrong. When you take the blame, you take the control. And when you have control, you finally have the power to change the outcome. The negative network effect. There is a psychological law that says you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. The low IQ psychology thrives in echo chambers of mediocrity. If everyone in your circle is complaining about the economy, spending their weekends drinking away their paycheck, and mocking anyone who tries to build the business, your brain will naturally mirror that behavior to avoid social rejection. This is the crab mentality. When one crab tries to climb out of the bucket, the others pull it back down. A poverty mindset isn't just internal, it's reinforced by your environment. If you don't intentionally audit your social circle, your brain will stay hooked to the same level of thinking as everyone else around you.
True wealth requires the psychological strength to be the weird one for a while.
The hard work fallacy. There's also a dangerous myth that simply working hard is the path to wealth. But if hard work were the only secret, construction workers and janitors would be the wealthiest people on earth. Low financial IQ psychology often confuses effort with results. It's like someone pushing a massive square rock uphill, sweating and complaining, while ignoring the chance to stop for 5 minutes and carve that rock into a wheel. They often say, "I don't have time to read," or "I don't have money for a course," yet they spend hours every day scrolling through social media. They're stuck in a survival loop where the brain avoids strategic thinking because it requires too much energy. But wealth doesn't come from how many hours you work, it comes from how much value you deliver and how difficult you are to replace. If you only do what anyone else can do, you will only be paid what anyone else is paid.
The information diet. Most people spend 8 hours a day selling their time for money and then spend their remaining 4 hours consuming junk information. This is a core trait of the low IQ financial mindset. They treat their attention as if it's free. It's not. Your attention is your most valuable currency, while the wealthy mind is obsessed with high-signal information, books, specialized courses, and networking. The broke mind is addicted to low-signal noise, celebrity gossip, endless news cycles that generate fear, and mindless scrolling. Every piece of content you consume is either a deposit into your future or a withdrawal. If your mental input is 100% entertainment and 0% education, your financial output will always remain at 0.
The status signaling trap. Another invisible hook that keeps people broke is the status signaling trap. This is the psychological need to prove to others that you are successful before you actually are. The low financial IQ mindset is obsessed with looking wealthy. They buy cars they can't afford, houses they can't maintain, and clothes they don't need, all to impress people they don't even like. This is a survival mechanism gone wrong. In ancient times, high status meant better chances of survival. But today, chasing status is the fastest way to financial extinction. True wealth is what you don't see. It's the money in the brokerage account, the equity in a business, and the cash flow from investments. But the poverty mindset sees a bank balance as a spending limit rather than a building tool. They are caught in a cycle of lifestyle inflation. Every time they earn more, they spend more. They are perpetually one paycheck away from disaster, all because they value the image of success more than the reality of freedom. If your expenses grow at the same rate as your income, you aren't getting richer, you're just becoming a higher-class slave to your bills.
The sunk cost fallacy. This is the psychological trap of staying in a dead-end job or a failing business just because you've spent years doing it. The low IQ mindset says, "I can't leave this career. I studied 4 years for this degree," even if that career is being replaced by AI or offers no path to wealth. They are emotionally attached to their past mistakes. A high financial IQ, however, understands that the time and money you spent yesterday are gone. The only thing that matters is what is the best move for tomorrow. Being able to admit you were wrong and pivot quickly is a superpower that most people are too proud to use.
The fear of risk. And conclusion. Finally, we have the irrational fear of risk. Ironically, the people who fear risk the most are taking the biggest risk of all, the risk of doing nothing. They think investing is gambling, yet they think it's normal to leave money in a bank account where it loses value to inflation every single day. They are afraid to start a small side business because it might not work, yet they accept the certainty that their job could be cut at any moment by AI or a recession. Having a low financial IQ isn't a permanent condition. It's just programming you received from your environment, the media, or even your upbringing. The good news is, your brain is capable of change. You can delete this software today. It starts by changing your dopamine choices. Trade the burger for the gym, impulsive spending for investing, and complaining for execution. That person you think is just lucky usually just stopped fighting the economy and started training their own mind. If you're ready to decode these patterns and take control, the path starts here. Subscribe to the Mind Code. Don't let your own mind be your greatest enemy.